Hey, what's up guys, and welcome back to another anti-character guide. This time we're going to be looking at LARS, and we're going to be looking at every stance, which means I'm going to split this guide up into 3 videos. We're going to look at all 3 stances that LARS has. We're going to look at dynamic entry, silent entry, and limited entry. So I'm going to split these videos up into 3. The first video, today's video, we're going to be looking at dynamic entry. Also, for each of these videos, I'm going to be leaving a link to my Discord. So for every video that I do on stances, I'm going to start leaving all of my notes that I have for that stance in my Discord server. So in my Discord server, I have channels for every single character. Every character has like an anti-that character guide channel. So anybody that wants to put any useful information, including me, whenever I do these videos, I'll be leaving all of my notes that I use for these videos in those channels. So if you want to look back at what I've talked about and you don't want to watch the video again, feel free to head over to the Discord server and you will find all of my notes in the server. So let's get on with today's video. Starting off with dynamic entry, we're going to be looking at the moves that you can actually use from dynamic entry. Now with this stance, he can do 1-2, which is 11 frames, start up, high. He can do 2, which is a mid, which is also very good for Oki. He can do 3, this homing, which I'm sure you're all aware of. Just +5 on hit and block, by the way, which is kind of weird for a move. He can do 4, which is the low. He can do 1+2, which is a high, very fast screw tornado full launcher. Well, tornado launcher. He can do 3+4, which is this stomp. He can also do this throw, which he can also do that throw from running as well. He can also do some dynamic entry. Now, first off, I'm going to show you if you get into a situation where you have to take the mix-up. I'm going to show you the options you have to counter these mix-ups, primarily sidestepping, right? With the transitions, we'll move on to interrupting and down forward 1, interrupting power crushes and stuff like that. But for now, I'm going to show you which way to sidewalk. So for the 1-2, you sidewalk right. For the 2 option, you sidewalk right. For the 3, this is homing. And you don't want to get hit by this because it's a heat engager. So there is always that scary element because it's homing. And you don't want to get hit with a heat engager, right? So always be aware of that. The 4 is a late sidewalk right. If I do it immediately, this will track me. So you actually have to do this kind of late. It's a bit annoying, but it is what it is. The 3+4, you sidewalk right again. And obviously the 2+4 throw, because throws are... Oh god, that tracked me. Okay. Okay, you have to sidewalk right late. I actually didn't realize that. Or sidestep late. You can sidestep if you want. But they're the options you have to counter this stance if you're getting mixed, right? I will go through specifics when we actually go through the transitions. One thing to note about this stance is that unlike other stances, he doesn't have to commit to anything here. He can press down and it will cancel the stance. So if you see a LARS doing this, that's what they're doing. They're pressing down to cancel the stance, and then, you know, they'll try and mix you up, mix your timing up, and then catch you pressing, right? So always be aware of that. Next, we're going to move on to the transitions. This is where things get kind of cool, actually, for us. There's like a lot of really good options here with the defense. And a lot of it is quite simplified. You can do a lot of the same counters for different transitions. And I just want to say, before we go through any of the transitions, that when he transitions from the moves into the stance, right, like the first one we're going to look at, which is forward 1, 2, 3, unlike if he does this manually, he can't do this. If you press down and then press back, he will do this. So he's not blocking. So basically, what I'm really getting at is he can't block out of these. He can't block out of this stance. He can't cancel to block. All he can do is go into the same stance, but further back. Right? It's a little weird stance transition into the same stance, but further back. That's what this is. That is silent entry. Or something different. We'll go over that later. But for all intents and purposes, he can't block when he goes into dynamic entry from actual moves. If he goes in manually, he can block. If he goes in from a move, he can't block. Okay, with that out of the way, we can go into the transitions. There's some really easy stuff here. So, first thing we're going to look at is 1, 2, 3. Bear in mind, he can hold back here to not shift to dynamic entry. As you can see, plus 22 on hit. And he's minus 5 on block. And it is also minus 12 if he doesn't shift to dynamic entry. Firstly, on block, I've set him up to do the fastest 11 frame high here. Down forward 1, even late, interrupts everything that he has out of this. Literally everything. So that covers 1, 2, 3 forward. Down forward 1 literally every time he goes into this. It's completely fake. Now the next transition we're going to look at is probably one you're already aware of. It's his down forward 1, 1. That is not down forward 1, 1. He can press down here to go into the stance, dynamic entry. He can just do down forward 1, 1. Or he can finish the string with the minus 12 mid. Now, it's plus 10 on hit. It's minus 2 on block. And it's minus 6 with no shift into dynamic entry. On block, I also have, every time I go through these, or most times, I'm going to have the bot set up to do the fastest move out of this, right? Especially since we're doing a mid, which doesn't matter about high crush. As you can see, downward 1 trades with everything here. So this is your option when he does this. You can even react kind of late, even though like you actually have time to react to him going into this stance and get the downward 1 in. So always downward 1 here, every time on block. On hit, unfortunately, you are minus 10, so you have to take the mix up there. There is just no way about it. Moving on, we have down back 1 plus 2, down. He can leave out the down input to not shift. If he does this, there's no shift, right? On hit, as you can see, it's plus 11. It's plus 8 with no shift. Minus 6 on block. Minus 6 on block. And minus 13 if he doesn't shift out of here. This means that we can do our 13 frame punish. Actually don't know what the 30 frame punish is with LARS, but I'm just going to do downward 1 because it's 13 frames. Even though it says counter, it's a 13 frame punish because remember he can't block out of this stance. So that is a punish. On hit, you have to take the mix up. It is plus 11 for the LARS. Next, we're going to talk about forward 4-2. This one that you see. I'm sure you're already aware of this mix-up. LARS players love to use this. It is plus 11 on hit, so if you get hit by this, you have to take the mix-up. It is minus 7 on block if the first hit whiffs. There we go. Minus 7 on block. Obviously, if you block the first... If you block the first here... Oh my god. Can I block, please? You punish that. Launch punishable. The stagger. If the first hit whiffs and you block the mid or the high, sorry. If you block the high, oh my god. If you block the high, this is also minus 15. So don't worry if you miss if you try to duck the low and it whiffs and then you end up blocking the 2, it's still minus 15. You can still 15 frame punish this. Moving on, the very tricky one, which a lot of people get baited by. While standing 2 down, he can finish the string with while standing 2-1, or while standing 2-3, or he can do this. If he does this, don't press, you're getting baited. Because then you press, bam, and you get launched. You don't want to press here. It's complete bait, don't press. Also, I forgot to mention that he can go into silent entry here, as well as dynamic entry. So, dynamic entry, the bait one, or while standing 2 forward, the silent entry, right? Just don't get baited. The last transition, just a notable mention, is when he goes into silent entry here, this one, where you can do the low, you can do these. If he presses back, he then goes into dynamic entry again. Right? Just something to be aware of. Just so you know what moves are actually coming out of that stance. Even though it looks a little bit different, it is still dynamic entry. That's all dynamic entry done. As you can see, there's a lot of counterplay to that. So that's going to cover today's video with dynamic entry. Next video, we're going to be looking at limited entry, so stay tuned for that. If you liked the video, please leave a like, and if you're new here and you want to find your way back, hit the subscribe button down below. Hopefully, I'll see you guys in the next stance guide for LARS. Hopefully, you learned something. Take it easy, guys, and I will see you in the next one.